Police officers face danger every day, but sometimes criminals trick them in unexpected ways. From fake medical emergencies to stealing weapons, these suspects turn the tables on law enforcement. These real-life cases show how quick thinking can make all the difference in life-threatening situations. On September 14th, 2023, a 27-year-old man named Kishan Sims entered the Youngstown Police Department lobby in a state of emotional distress. He asked to speak with the police chief, but the officer at the front desk informed him that an agreement was required.
Only talks to people if they make an appointment.
I have to call him or something.
Okay.
The officer attempted to contact someone for Sims to talk to, but no one was available at the time. As the conversation continued, tensions quickly escalated. Sims became agitated when the officer commented on his mental state. Enraged, he started attacking the officer, repeatedly demanding to speak with someone. Despite warnings to leave the station, he refused and continued to act aggressively. A struggle broke out between Sims and the officer, with Sims physically assaulting him. As the situation intensified, several officers were called in to restrain him. After a long struggle, they managed to take him into custody. Following his arrest, police searched Sims' car and found a loaded semi-automatic handgun along with extra ammunition. Even though he had a concealed carry permit, the incident was reported for a permit review. He now faces serious charges, including aggravated robbery and 2 counts of assaulting a police officer. On March 21st, 2022, a McKinley County Sheriff's deputy was transporting 3 inmates when one of them, Joshua Hall, suddenly claimed he was having a heart attack. Concerned for his well-being, the officer stopped the transport van, called for medical assistance, and removed Hall from the vehicle to get fresh air. However, this was all part of Hall's plan. After freeing himself from his handcuffs, he attacked the officer, attempting to take his firearm. A struggle ensued, but Hall managed to overpower the deputy, hijack the transport vehicle, and speed away on Interstate 40, evading officers for hours before finally being captured. Hall's escape attempt led to additional charges, including 2 counts of kidnapping, assault with intent to commit a violent felony, and aggravated fleeing. His actions not only put the officer's life in danger, but also forced law enforcement to conduct an extensive pursuit, using spike strips and roadblocks to stop him. This case highlights the risks officers face daily and how criminals can manipulate situations to their advantage, making even routine transport missions potentially life-threatening. September 26, 2020, a shocking event took place at the Harbor Community Police Station. A 29-year-old man named Jose Guzman entered the station's lobby, where he got into a heated argument with a uniformed desk officer. The argument became intense, prompting Guzman to step outside. However, the officer followed him, continuing the conversation. Suddenly, Guzman turned back and re-entered the station. Adopting a fighting stance, he physically attacked the officer, punching him in the face and causing him to fall backward onto the floor. While the officer was down, Guzman struggled with him for control of his gun. After an intense fight, he successfully removed the firearm from the officer's holster. As Guzman gained control of the weapon, he began to retreat toward the front door. At that moment, an off-duty assistant watch commander arrived to assist the injured officer.
You got my gun! Got my gun!
Guzman attempted to escape, but was met with gunfire from 2 responding officers. However, he was not hit and managed to flee the station in his vehicle. Police quickly located Guzman's car and initiated a high-speed chase. After a dramatic pursuit, officers successfully stopped and arrested him. He was taken into custody and has remained in jail since the incident, with bail set at $2.2 million. The injured officer, who had served over 30 years in the department, made a full recovery. Meanwhile, Guzman now faces serious charges, including attempted murder, assault with a semi-automatic firearm, robbery, and resisting arrest. If convicted, he could face a life sentence. During a routine prisoner transport, Donald Nisley took advantage of a momentary lapse in officer supervision to stage a bold escape. As officers focused on escorting other inmates, Nisley slipped behind the transport van, remaining out of sight. Acting swiftly, he found the vehicle unlocked and the keys inside. Without hesitation, he started the engine and crashed through the facility's garage door, leaving guards stunned as they realized the transport van and one of their prisoners was gone. Authorities immediately launched a manhunt, quickly tracking the stolen van to a crash site half a mile away. Though Nisley had abandoned the vehicle, officers soon found and arrested him. Brooklyn Park Police officer responded to a loud noise complaint, unaware that the encounter would turn into a life-threatening struggle. The officer confronted 25-year-old Lance Carr, but things quickly escalated. Carr overpowered the officer, turning the situation into a desperate fight for survival. As he reached for the officer's gun, the officer called for backup, but help was nowhere in sight.
They're 500 units calling to me.
The struggle intensified, with neighbors screaming for help and calling 911. However, Carr remained relentless, choking the officer despite the desperate situation. During the fight, the officer managed to fire his weapon, but he missed. In the chaos, he ejected the magazine, leaving his gun unable to fire more rounds. Carr continued his brutal attack, punching and strangling the officer for another 3 minutes. Finally, the sound of approaching sirens signaled that help was on the way. Backup officers arrived and subdued Carr. Officer Shah Heyman collapsed after the intense struggle and was taken away on a stretcher. He suffered serious injuries and had to take 2 weeks off work to recover. Lance Carr was convicted of first-degree assault and sentenced to 10 years in prison. Many believe this was a light sentence, considering his actions could have easily led to attempted murder charges, which carry a much harsher penalty. December 4th, 2012, a suspect nearly turned a routine arrest into a deadly encounter when he successfully smuggled a firearm into a police vehicle.
Let me see your hands. Let me see your hands. Gun! Gun!
After being taken into custody, the officers failed to conduct a thorough search before placing him, uncuffed, in the back seat of their patrol car. As they transported him to jail, the suspect suddenly pulled out a hidden gun, putting both officers' lives in immediate danger. Officers from the Tallahassee Police Department responded to a trespassing call at the Loyalty Inn on North Monroe Street, where they encountered Willis Adams. What started as a routine situation quickly escalated into a dangerous confrontation. Adams was initially told to leave the premises and warned that he would be arrested if he returned. However, just 2 hours later, he came back and was spotted by an officer still on the scene. When approached, Adams became aggressive, challenging the officer and resisting orders to comply. As the situation intensified, the officer attempted to subdue Adams using a taser, but it had little effect. Adams fought back and a violent struggle ensued. In the chaos, the officer drew his firearm, but Adams managed to grab hold of it. During the scuffle, the gun discharged, striking the officer in the hand. With the officer wounded, Adams gained control of the weapon and attempted to flee. However, another officer quickly intervened. As they tried to apprehend him, Adams allegedly reached for their firearm as well. Backup officers arrived just in time, and Adams was ultimately subdued and arrested. He now faces serious charges, including attempted homicide of a police officer. The injured officer was taken to the hospital for treatment, while the police department investigated the harrowing incident. These cases prove that even trained officers can be caught off guard by criminals' tricks. Quick decisions can mean the difference between life and death in dangerous situations. Stay alert and share this video to spread awareness about the risks law enforcement faces every day.